But do we think this is like a Doctor Strange from this universe, or is it a Doctor Strange that is chasing this demon into this universe?
I thought he was chasing this demon into this universe.
So he doesn't live in this universe.
No. Was it Dana Vasquez in the Marvel podcast? She mentioned how this diverts after the Sokovia Accords. So they are going kind of our trajectory until the Sokovia Accords happened in 2016. And in 2016, he was still in Carmitage.
Welcome back to the break room. School is in session, at least until Doctor Strange throws a garbage truck through it. Yes, that's right. The after show is back to discuss your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man episodes 1 and 2. Hit that graphic.
I was good at that. We're gonna clip that. We're gonna clip that for me at least. You did a good job whipping that in.
Yeah, Brian, add in a little web that come out of my hand.
Oh yeah, Brian. Is that Patrick?
Brian do all the work.
We'll do it in post. We'll do it in post.
I'm Brandon Barrick, and joining me today, he may be the quarterback, but he's also really smart. It's Evan Yee.
I have an IQ of over 300.
Whoa, that's too much. That's too much IQ.
Gotta hide the brain.
Yeah.
It's just a brain muscle underneath. Gross.
It's exposed brain. Also joining us today, she's constantly burning down the wrong building. It's Jessica Clemons.
You don't want to see what happens with me in a brick. Did you see that scene? Where he literally killed a child?
Killed a child. He gave a child CTE.
Someone do the math on the speed of that brick coming
the
back.
velocity. Yeah. We should be able to figure out the distance of an average size brick and how fast it's moving.
Okay. Yeah. Fun fact: there is a comic deep down there that I can't remember where it was. I read it when I was randomly reading a bunch of Spider-Man comics like ages ago, where there is Spider-Man like beating someone with a pipe. Like Spider-Man has beat people with different objects before, and I was searching for that brick.
The brick?
I was like, I know they take so much from the comics for the series that I was like, there is a scene somewhere in the comics where he uses a brick, I'm sure.
Brutal stuff. Hey, what the heck is happening with this alternate universe? Will all these characters get superpowers? And will Spider-Man see consequences for destroying that pet store? We'll get into all that and more. Of course, we want to remind you to check out nerdriot.shop, where we have some Midtown High merch available right now, as well as our homemade suit t-shirt. If you're feeling the Spidey spirit, you can pick up some stuff there. We've also got other merch from other fandoms. I'm wearing a lovely Fantastic Four shirt right now.
Yes.
Spider-Man showed up in a Fantastic Four comic, one of his first appearances.
I'm trying to wear, I will always wear merch every now and then, but anytime we're talking about Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, I'm trying to wear a hocky jersey. So on the breakdown, I'm wearing a hockey jersey. To wear the outfit that he's wearing. Yeah, and I'm wearing my Kings Wayne Gretzky jersey.
Oh, nice.
And next time I'll buy a Brandon Barrick jersey.
Oh, lucky me.
When we start bringing in hockey jerseys for new rock stars, I'm going to be on top of it.
Jessica, will you help us out with a quick recap for the first 2 episodes?
Yeah. Okay. After Doctor Strange stops a venom-like creature while destroying Midtown High, in the process, Peter passes out when talking to Nico Minoru after a spider from the creature's portal bites him on the neck. Spider power origin now revealed.
Done.
Ooh, different from the others.
Yeah.
None of them come out of a sling ring portal.
Right. I mean, it does kind of feel like the alchemic spider a little bit.
A little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That came from the wrong universe.
I'm sure they thought about that when they were pitching it, but it is nice to be like, but this is a Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And also, it's nice, Miles, just tap that thing. This Peter. Oh my
God. Peter going down.
So what I'm hearing is Miles is strong as hell.
Yeah, this Peter.
Yeah, Peter Parker. Weak as hell. Weak as hell.
After eating all those oatmeal bags or whatever he's making.
Oh my God.
Oatmeal bag.
There's toast and oatmeal in a Ziploc bag.
I don't think that's normal, but maybe they just didn't have the Tupperware that day. It was in the wash.
I'm gonna make it for the next episode, and I'm gonna bring it to the show. After the intro, the amazing intro, he's already swinging through the streets as Spider-Man, saving Harry Osborn from a group of live streamers.
Aren't live streamers the worst?
Saying their name and then live streaming their crimes.
Well, no, it's fun.
Robbing
That's what
people.
kids do in New York.
Jeez Louise.
They weren't robbed. Oh, they were trying to rob.
Yeah, it was
Harry.
like I didn't have
They
any
were trying
money.
to rob
Like I
Harry,
told the other guys I didn't have any. Although they may have just been in it for the thrill of beating someone. They didn't want. He just was.
You
trying
know
to
who else
offer
was in there
money.
for the thrill of Spider-Man with
Yeah.
that brick? So
that is true. He did find thrill
No
in
one
beating up some
said. No one said
teenagers.
use a brick on this kid.
Yeah, it's true.
He and Nico end up attending Rockford Vale's high school with Peter's old babysitter, Pearl Pangan, and her new boyfriend, Rockford Ravens quarterback, Lonnie Lincoln.
Dun dun dun.
My baby. If I had a son, I hope it's Lonnie. Norman Osborn invites Peter to an internship at Oscorp, and he meets other genius teenagers like Amadeus Cho, Asha from Wakanda, and Jean Foucault. And he is eventually paired with Dr. Carla Connors in the Energy Research Division, even though he wanted to work in robotics. But before he can wrap up his day, he sees a fire on the news and changes in the Oscorp staircase to swing to the rescue.
I mean,
Because that is for the smartest boy, for a real bright boy,
Yeah.
changing next to a camera sounds pretty stupid.
Pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Of course there's gonna be cameras in the stairwell, Peter, come on. Chump. Okay, Peter fights Butane, and while he ultimately wins, he misses the party celebrating the Ravens win, and also is late to his intern check-in with Connors and the internship supervisor, Dr. Bentley Whitman. Norman Osborn requests to meet with him, and it's there that Norman reveals the security camera footage of Peter swinging away, and he says, "So you're Spider-Man."
wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into our questions from the episodes, any favorite moments anyone wants to highlight from these first two? I mean, for me, I thought I love seeing like Doctor Strange be Doctor Strange. Use all of his like powers. Like that was very fun and a lot of mystery there. And I like the butane fight a lot too.
That was fun. That was cute. I like, I think number one definitely goes to the brick. But after the brick scene, that brick scene was wild.
Yeah.
It was jarring.
I mean, just the cut when they just go, ooh.
Yes, 100%. But I do really like, and Jeff Tremel, the creator, talked about this a lot in the Marvel podcast, how they capture him being a teenager.
Yeah.
And I think all Spider-Men do a really good job of capturing even little rambunctious teenager things, but just being as little as like his phone progressively cracks more. He never finishes anything. He's always late. It's just like little things that they incorporated that I was like, oh, this is nice to remember that like, no one enjoys being a teenager. There's never like, we liked being teens, but it was like, it was bad time. So let's really highlight it.
Yeah. I mean, you and I talked about this moment when we got to see the first two episodes early, but that scene with Lonnie when he's going home, it's just so impactful. Suddenly takes the show in a very interesting direction.
Yes, I agree.
Is setting up a very interesting foundation because Lonnie Lincoln is the name of Tombstone. That's, his name. We don't know where, we're going to get to it in a little bit, but a lot of these characters are have bigger destinies potentially.
Yeah, in Marvel Comics, they are known names.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see what they're setting up with him here.
Yeah.
And the thing is, since it is a different reality, different universe, he technically doesn't have to become the villain Tombstone.
Yes.
He could just be a Tombstone that was really smart, went to a school, got a scholarship, and just progressively gets better. Or Tombstone could become his little brother.
True.
There's a lot of possibilities, but I digress. Alas, one of these villain comic characters have to become a villain.
Oh,
Yeah,
There is
one of
no
them.
chance that it's either Carla, Carla Connors, it's gonna be someone.
Well, yeah, and I love the subversion with Lonnie Lincoln because it is like if that character does become Tombstone, like instead of it being like, oh, the quarterback is using Peter because he's really smart, it's like, no, he's really smart. Yeah. And he heard that Peter's smart. And this guy wasn't going to Midtown. He was always going to this school to be a quarterback and all that. But he's also like really smart and like has his own thing and is fixing his mom's car and is taking care of his little brother. And like, yeah, that moment when it was like, no, we're going to follow him home. I was like, oh, this is like weird. I didn't expect this, right?
Yeah.
They talked
from
about
the show.
Yeah, I didn't either. And I think, and I again highlighting what they said in the Marvel podcast. This was ages ago. Me and Eric talked about on like Sneak Peek that Brad Winderbaum was genuinely like, well, that's why we like Jeff Tremel, because he worked on Craig of the Creek,
Right.
and we want to incorporate everybody because it's your friendly neighborhood. So we want to know every neighborhood, every person in his life, and how important they are. So I think as the short story goes, we'll see everyone's neighborhood. We're gonna meet Nico's neighborhood. We're gonna see like how Pearl's family is, and we're just gonna learn through that. And that would give them, because they also got renewed for a third season, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
Sure,
like the
I
second
remember.
season will get
Yeah.
more deeper into some
Yeah.
of their backstories.
I'm excited about it.
The second season, I don't even know. I've been reading the comics that work in tandem with the show, and I'm still like, there's a lot of characters we haven't met.
Okay.
But I'm also like, for the second season, I'm like, oh, who's gonna be bad? So, like, they're gonna hit something eventually.
Okay.
If it's Pearl, watch Pearl become a villain.
Yeah,
Become a villain.
that'd be and Pearl is his love interest as well, and it's interesting to see how he's kind of like. Lonnie asks her out, and they're clearly kind of like a new couple. But Peter is like, "Oh, but Lonnie's actually really cool," and like kind of diffuses that tension immediately.
Completely.
Really interesting setup here, yeah. And God, if Pearl becomes a villain, I was gonna do a lot of weird things to Peter.
Oh, well, it's also like, what if Peter is just like the villain? Not like a bad one. Not a bad one right now.
But he
Not
makes like selfish decisions.
Yeah,
which,
and I think that's every Peter does. I think there is still a story there where I know that they're trying to divert from the other Spider-Man. It's like his origin's different. Eventually they divert from what we're used to seeing. But I'm like, oh, this Peter could just be like a jerk. Could be a jerk for a minute.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, you're being kind of an asshole. Because he also assumed. He also assumed with Lonnie.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, actually this.
Because this is a different universe in the MCU. We don't know if this Peter has had his Uncle Ben moment yet, right?
Yeah,
Well, he's dead.
true.
Well, we know Uncle Ben is gone, and we know Peter's parents are gone. He mentions, the rough year we've had. There was also, when they were in the apartment, when Norman showed up, they kind of panned across some photos, and there was a photo of Peter looked like hiking with somebody, an older male, and I don't know if that's his father or if that was Ben.
Yeah.
Right?
It looked like his dad because it looks just like Peter.
Sure, but if Ben is his uncle, his dad's brother, then it could be.
Yeah.
He looks like who knows?
But
Who
I think
knows?
they clearly didn't show the Ben dying. I think the Ben dying will be the Aunt May, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Like if Aunt May dies,
Yeah.
that'll be his Uncle Ben dying on the
right. And we did the Spider-Man Assembled yesterday where we were talking about this kind of Uncle Ben moment, right? Like, what could it be? So I like that it could be something involving Aunt May. Or even something else, right? I mean, you had pitched an idea that maybe Harry Osborn, not this Harry Osborn,
Right.
but like in your fake movie,
Yeah.
oh, Harry Osborn could be the Uncle Ben moment, like losing a close friend. Something like that here as well.
And if the Uncle Ben here is not necessarily someone dying, but losing a friend to villainy, right?
Yeah, that's true.
They
Like
are
how it
no
was with
longer their person; they become something else.
It could be also, what if the Spider-Man story of Uncle Ben is actually played through like Lonnie's character or like someone else? It's like we're not. He doesn't get
one
an
of his
Uncle-
friends goes through
Yeah,
it.
one of his friends becomes.
Interesting,
We're getting the Spider-Man trajectory through like Tombstone.
Oh,
or
interesting. Yeah.
someone else.
So we're already talking so much. We're getting so ahead of it. Let's talk about some of our biggest questions from these first two episodes, especially like what the heck is going on with Doctor Strange and this portal and this like spider bite and this like demonic character. We got this great scene of Peter not recognizing Doctor Strange, right? This is a world where they have an Iron Man hanging from their rearview mirror.
Yeah, the little dash
There's a
toy.
photo of Captain America in Norman's office. So like the world knows of these characters. They make a reference to Stark Industries. But like he sees Doctor Strange, he's not like, oh, that's Doctor Strange, right? So, this Doctor Strange shows up. He's struggling to stop like this venom like demon. There's a portal. You
there
see
it
it there.
is.
Like it's giving venom, right? It's got tendrils, it's got the black, it's got the eyes, but also like that shoulder hair is almost, it's very like Craven-esque in a way. I think. There's also a character in the Spider-Man comics, Dark Side, not Dark Side.
That's DC.
That's
baby.
DC. That it kind of looks like. So we don't really know, right? And at one point, Doctor Strange is like, "We're not supposed to be here." And it's like, and to me, this Doctor Strange with that light blue almost looked like the 838 Doctor Strange
But
that
he
we
has
saw in Multiverse of Madness that was killed by the Illuminati.
Interesting.
For like getting into the Darkhold too much.
And
So like I have so many questions
Yeah.
about this Doctor Strange.
He still has the Eye of Agamotto too.
Yeah, he's got the Eye of
Time Stone,
Agamotto because he's able to do the time
Yeah.
trick. So that has the time stone in it.
Yeah.
But do we think this is like a Doctor Strange from this universe, or is it a Doctor Strange that is chasing this demon into this universe?
I thought he was chasing this demon into this
So
universe.
he doesn't live in this universe.
No, I think there is a Doctor Strange.
Okay.
I think there's a Steven
And
in
he's
this universe.
and he's under the radar as of right now.
Because technically, if this is 2016, what's her name? Was it Dana Vasquez in the Marvel podcast? She mentioned how this diverts after the Sokovia Accords. So they are going kind of our trajectory until the Sokovia Accords happened in 2016. And in 2016, he was still in Carmitage.
Oh, okay.
He was he's with the Ancient One.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like he might be in a car accident, but again, this is a different universe. So this one, I mentioned this in my breakdown. I was like, this one also might have not lost his sister and never went to science or to become a doctor. He could have just been.
He's just straight
normal.
up
He's just Strange.
Mystical Doctor
Or Steven.
Strange.
He's just Steven.
Steven Strange.
He's just Steven. Because again, there's so many trajectories still with Steven to make him a doctor that made him fall in love with this woman, that made him lose his arms or lose his hands. And I'm like, oh, this one could also just not be a doctor. But again, she does say that it diverts after Sokovia Accord. So he's not Doctor Strange yet.
When he sees Midtown High, he is like, we're not supposed to be here, which is weird. Like,
Right.
is it just like, oh no, it's
We
a
shouldn't
high
be
school?
fighting in a school.
Because he
or-
doesn't
yeah.
care. He clearly will like destroy that school.
I don't think he wants to destroy the school. I think he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he
it's a high
tries not
school.
to, but it goes wrong.
Could you imagine bringing a bull into a portal and then being like, "Oh, it's an elementary school"? Like, "Oh, I'm at a preschool.
Yeah.
I'm at a daycare." I'd be like, "We can't be here. Get out." That makes sense. I get that. I don't know. That's also the situation. I assume they thought about like the TVA and all that realness, but I'm also like, I could see them being so adamant about being like, I don't want to be tied down by what the MCU is right now to be
Right.
creating this project. I don't know who it could be. I'm still stuck on the fact that it's his comic accurate costume. Can you bring it up again, Dashiell? It's his comic accurate outfit, but he still has the cheetah print on his gloves.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
gloves are interesting.
Because you also compared him to Craven too, right?
Yeah.
Like in that sense, you were comparing this Strange to Craven.
Yeah, because I think I pitched that is a version of Kraven the Hunter splice. Because some of these characters are just, if you watch the intro, some of the characters are just spliced Spider-Man characters, or spliced characters. And I was like, oh, I think this is just a spliced version of a Doctor Strange that is Kraven the Hunter and he's hunting. And
hunts like demons.
he hunts, Kraven's always chasing Venom. That's the biggest catch. And I was like, I think in this there's a universe where he is the Kraven that's chasing down an actual wild Venom. In this universe, it's like Jumanji, or if it's like the horrible guys that hunt down really nice elephants, Jimmy Johns. I think he's. I think Dr. Jimmy Johns. Jimmy John Strange.
Dear God, it's Jimmy Johns.
He said we shouldn't be.
They'll know that they won't buy my sandwiches after this because I'm hunting things.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and I will not. And I have not bought from Jimmy John's in almost 20 years.
Proud of you. Proud of you.
But it's those gloves, because I looked at a
Okay.
bunch of those costumes, and that costume is like identical to him in the comics. Even like the mustache, the twirly little, the magician mustache.
Yeah.
But it's those gloves that are different.
Yeah.
The twirly mustache.
Dr. Sergey Strange.
Stop it.
You're Craven. Craven. Some legends are true.
Also, what if that I just love the idea that there's a universe where everyone's a hunter.
my
so it's like the Avengers are just imagine them like what would it be? It would be who would be like Cheetah from DC. So like one of them would be Black Widow would be like
Widow,
Cheetah. Like it would just be like them hunting wild animals
my
who are mirrored as the villains in the
Marvel
MCU.
Comics, you want to go crazy? Oops, all Craven.
Oops,
Do
all
it.
crazy.
There's no animals anywhere because they're all dead. We also, during this fight, right, the spider comes through the portal. That's the one that bites Peter. And then we see the spider get away. It crawls on someone's backpack who walks out. You know, Doctor Strange takes the demon back through the portal, closes the portal, spider left behind.
Yeah.
It goes away with somebody. Very mysterious. Who was wearing those sneakers? We don't know.
Do you think it was? Do you think this is a long game from Norman?
well,
Harry took it away.
Oh.
I don't know about Harry, because Harry was wearing those green, that kind of green suit.
Same, but
These
that
are
was
like
4 months
jeans.
later. Remember?
Well, that was the same day.
Was it the same? No, it was 4 months
that was
later.
It was
It was 4
You're
months
right,
later.
you're
So
right.
4 months before, he's like, I'm gonna take my backpack.
Harry's been bit. So you're saying like Harry gets bit that day, develops powers. Dad notices that and needs to track down the other spider person to figure out what's going on.
Well, I don't know. I'm pitching like
Sure.
ridiculousness because I'm like, I don't think that person took it by purpose.
No,
I think
it
that
was
person took
clearly
it by
an
accident. But I do think that would give him more inclination to be wondering about Peter Parker.
I mean,
I understand Peter Parker's
Yeah.
very smart, but I also think he's like, I know that kid has been probably.
Yeah,
doing
we'll get to Norman. Like, I definitely think he picked Peter for a very specific reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, this spider too, it has like this kind of blue coloring, which kind of matched the Doctor Strange a little bit. Also kind of matched the demon, which had like blue highlights on it. Kind of like its black and blue nature. So maybe it came from if this is a Venom-esque like symbiote, right?
Symbiote.
Is this like a weird spider from like Null's universe or something weird, even weird like that? I don't know. So many questions about this spider.
Yeah.
It's hard because he has so far just like the normal Peter Parker spider powers, except for the organic webs. That's like the only difference, right? He's strong. He can climb. He can swing.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he develops any new powers. It would kind of like Miles developed
Miles
the
has
electricity.
Yeah, it would be so interesting if that was rooted in Null or like the symbiotes, and like that was started like to like grow on him in a weird way. Like it's not totally because it's through a bite and not because it's like taking on as a host. It's like it takes on a different form.
Okay.
That could be interesting. Yeah. I was just gonna say they're probably from the Blueyverse.
How could you?
Why? Because it's blue?
Yeah.
It's blue and black?
Here we go.
With kindness
with you?
and compassion. I do hope they revisit it, though. Do you think
They're
this
going
will
to.
pay off this season? We'll meet this other person with spider powers?
I think-
or could this be a long game thing?
Do we think that the Venom is not... I assume the Venom was going to be... That's going to be the surprise, is that the Venom's not going to be in the spider anymore. It's going to... For some reason, it was like one bite. One bite for one person.
Okay.
And then they're gonna dissect the spider and be, damn, no more Venom. But I do think it's gonna be like the end reveal is like Norman Osborn has that spider and he's studying it.
Oh, okay. I think that makes sense.
It's gonna come back. There is no, but I will say, I'm like, I saw it and I was like, what? We're not gonna go back to it? And immediately went to like the intro.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that they skipped ahead.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, I mean, you think we'll get a flashback? Because even in the comics, we haven't seen the full creation of the suit yet. They're releasing like a prequel comic, kind of like seems like it takes place in between the events of the opening scene of episode 1 and after the intro, I guess. But yeah, do you think we'll see how he makes this suit in like a flashback or something?
I don't think so. Oh, I was like, the only reason I don't think so is because Jeff Trammell in the last Marvel podcast did mention something that was like, yeah, he has a bunch of suits that you'll see in the comics, and then he plugged the new comics that are following.
Do you think the comics will just kind of cover all that? Yeah.
And that's the thing is like the comics already have. You see, Crusher Hogan's in the intro, but then Crusher Hogan's also a bigger part of the comic.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh yeah, and there's another villain that's a huge part of the comics. That are we allowed to talk about the comics?
Yeah,
I mean, they're out.
I mean, go read them.
Yeah, they're out.
Too,
Yeah, they're out.
I think there's only 2 out.
There's
There's only
two
2.
out, yeah.
The next one,
And they're doing 5 total of this initial run, but it sounds like I think if this show is popular, they'll probably keep making it.
I think it's a really fun in between that just like gets you ready. We're following one guy that is like an Italian like mobster that I'm pretty sure is the one that hired Butane.
Oh, okay.
And so they're like revealing that because
You didn't think that was Wilson Fisk hiring Butane?
I think it's this guy only because this guy has been trying to burn down buildings to get the property.
Oh, okay.
So I assumed.
I haven't read the comics, folks.
It's okay. They're not online unless they changed in the last like 4 days.
They're not on like Marvel.
No, they're not on Marvel Unlimited.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to be this person. I'm so sorry, you guys. I just aired out my one horrible trait, my only horrible trait. I read digitally. I do not go to bookstores anymore because I hate clutter and I have too many books in my house.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And it's hard to store comics sometimes because you got to make sure you have the box, but then if you don't have a lot of them, they'll fall in the box.
Yeah, and I hate when they fall. Oh, don't
You
even
gotta have bag and boards.
You gotta have bag and boards.
Well, and then my wife was like, "Why do you keep buying these comic books? What are you gonna do with them?" I was like, "I need them.
I need bags and boards.
I have 2 boxes in my closet that I need to move out of the way, and I just have them forever. But I will say, you get them at your local bookstore. If you do it through Marvel Unlimited, they give you a list of every bookstore in your nearby area that would have them. And I'm pretty sure every bookstore or every comic book store has them because they sent like those boxes, the comic boxes for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man to these places. I've been trying to steal them from my local place. The guy said, "No, we like them. They're pretty." I was like, "No, come on, give them to me."
Evan jumping in to thank some of our sponsors today. Listen, we're all about getting the best sleep possible here at the Breakroom. Especially with these late night episode drops, it's nice to get some great sleep and be recharged for the next day, which is why we're stoked that Miracle Made is one of today's sponsors. The temperature you sleep at has a huge impact on the quality of your sleep. If you're constantly waking up because you're too hot or too cold, you gotta try Miracle Made sheets. Their fabric was inspired by NASA, so it's thermoregulating. That means you'll sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. I got some Miracle Made sheets in the summer, and the summer in Southern California can get really, really hot, so these sheets were a godsend in those hot days. Plus, they're crazy comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands. Plus, Miracle Made sheets are infused with silver that prevents bacterial growth. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne, so sleeping on Miracle Made sheets is good for your skin too. You can upgrade your sleep this year. Go to trymiracle.com/breakroom to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code BREAKROOM at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/breakroom and use code BREAKROOM to claim your free 3-piece towels set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/breakroom to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. We also want to thank Prolon L Nutra. Prolon's fasting mimicking diet is a revolutionary plant-based nutrition program that nourishes the body while making cells believe they're fasting. After eating everything that wasn't nailed down during the holidays, and trust me, I ate a lot over the holidays, Prolon's 5-day fasting program was the perfect way to kickstart my health for 2025. After fasting, I had more energy, I lost some fat, and I had better skin. Plus, it's easy to start because Prolon maps everything out for you. That's great, because as someone who has trouble mapping things out sometimes and planning ahead, that's helpful. The 5-day program includes some snacks, soups, and beverages designed to keep your body in a fasting state. No guesswork or planning required. You get motivation and guidance from longevity and nutrition coaches. If you purchase a Prolon 5-day kit, you gain free access to the January Fasting Challenge. Groups start every Sunday in January, so you can start when it works for you. Prolon's January Fasting Challenge is a coach-led program to set you up for fasting success. The program was researched and developed for decades at USC's Longevity Institute and is backed by leading US medical centers. Ready to make 2025 your healthiest year yet? Order your Prolon 5-day kit at prolonlife.com/breakroom and join in on their fasting challenge today. New groups start every Sunday in January. Plus, Prolon is offering the Breakroom listeners and audience 15% off their 5-day nutrition program for your post-holiday glow up when you go to prolonlife.com/breakroom. Thanks, Prolon. All right. Back to the Spider-Man talk. All right, well, we're about to talk about some of the other kind of connections from this episode and get your questions ready because we want to make sure we take some of yours who are watching live. But also we want to shout out Sideshow, who sent us this great, incredible, we literally just got it in the mail minutes before we started the episode. Spider-Man Stealth Suit Deluxe version. This thing is awesome. Thank you so much, Sideshow, as we take this cover off and we show the inside. It's not just the picture? It's not just the picture, Brandon.
Yeah, we haven't built the statue yet.
We haven't built it yet.
We're like, we'll take it out of the box. We'll show that. Oh, you gotta build it.
But it's really cool. We're excited to set it up. Maybe I'll set it up on stream. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow or on Friday.
Can I see that sleeve?
Yeah.
What does it say on the back?
Ooh, it's got all the description of the selfie and everything. We got the credits for the artists who worked on the...
I'm Mysterio.
You do look like Mysterio.
You can't pretend to be like Mysterio.
You let her die.
It's locking up in there, Mysterio.
Oh, I'm sweating. I'm gonna save that little.
That should be your new flag.
Yeah. Oh my god. I should make that an emote too. Oh my god. And we got the people who worked on it as well on the back, their credits and all that. If you would like to check out a Sideshow a collectible of your own, you can actually use our affiliate link, which is linked in the YouTube description. If you're watching live on Twitch, it's pinned as well. Check out the things on there and use our link. It really helps us out. And there's a lot of cool stuff. So.
And if your partner is sick of the clutter from all the comic books you buy, definitely start buying statues.
You got it?
That'll make them happy.
I'll put it back over here. I was like, I don't want to break this Mysterio helmet now.
Every time I go to the comic book shop and they have all those statues, I'm always like, ooh, I want one of these.
I was just at the comic books. Oh my god, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started with buying those things. I was just at my comic book store and I was getting mad because I was like, I need to buy these. I need to buy these. I started buying those little figurines for like D&D. I'm not even playing D&D in person anymore. And I keep buying them and just painting them.
They're tiny.
Because they're so tiny, they're
small.
cheap at my comic book store. Yeah. I need to stop going to comic book stores because I don't have room in my house anymore. Gotcha. I have too many swords, too many statues.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Too many swords. If you have a sword that you want to send to our P.O. box for me, let me know. I will practice with it.
The people at the P.O. box me like, you guys gotta stop getting swords. The postal officers just keep playing with it in the back. They keep slicing everyone's mail open, committing federal offenses.
Damn, dude. I need to stop collecting these swords. I need to find a better place to put them. Okay.
Well, one of the coolest things of the series that we've mentioned is all the introduction of these characters, right? So many named characters from the comic books showing up in the show. Nearly everybody that talks is somebody, but how many of these characters do we think will get powers or assume some of their monikers down the line? Some of the characters of note, obviously we have Nico Minoru, right? She's from the Runaway comics, has magical abilities, if you've read those comics or you watch that show. We have Pearl Penguin, who is Wave in the comic books, does a little water manipulation, right? And then, of course, we mentioned Lonnie Lincoln, who becomes Tombstone in the comic books, kind of like a crime lord, I think is a good way to describe it, but also strong, like... very, very tough, very hard to kill. Has like almost like rock-like skin.
What happened to him? What made him get that skin again? Was it just chemicals? I can't remember. God, it's okay. It's not that important. He looks like Frankenstein. That's all that matters.
There's also when he goes to his internship, right? Dr. Whitman, Dr. Bentley Whitman. He's the character Wizard. Who's more a Fantastic Four villain, but we could see something happen there. He's also got a great attitude and should definitely be managing teenagers.
Yeah, you should definitely let him hang out with kids.
He's definitely got a cool attitude, guys.
Yeah.
And then of course Carla Connors, missing an arm already, folks. If you're familiar with the Dr. Connors, the lizard.
Yeah.
So I assume at some point she might do some experiment. We'll have to see how long it takes, though, right?
Kind of like a Spider-Verse-y, like, we had Catherine Hahn playing a Doc Ock as well, like a female Doc Ock.
Yeah, I like this. And it'll be interesting to see if any of these characters kind of subvert our expectations, where someone who is a villain in the comics is maybe a hero here, or vice versa.
I was like, genuinely watch Carla Connors be like, I'm fine with my arm being gone.
She was quick to defend Peter, too, even though he was, like, sneaking off and doing stuff. She was like, no, I sent him to the storage room.
Does seem a little bit harder to understand if she were to break bad, or she could be become the lizard somehow, but, like, be an ally in a weird way, too.
Yeah, because often the lizard is portrayed as kind of like a Dr. Jekyll, I think.
Yeah.
Dr. Connors doesn't want to be an evil villainess, but the lizard is more animalistic and he has no control. And is hunted.
Ooh, and that's how Doctor Strange comes back. Dr. Craven Strange comes back.
This is what I meant when I said I wasn't supposed to be here. I was supposed to be getting that guy. Could you imagine? Oh my God, if Craven, which he basically was doing in the video games, I was like, but if Craven could jump realities and hunt people, nah, he'd be having a field day. He'd be going crazy.
Ooh, yeah.
Do the Predator versus Craven crossover comic. That's what we really need. Craven
would be dead immediately. Yeah, are you out of your mind? The Predator would have murdered him.
I think so. They're always nerfing predators and aliens anytime they put them up against somebody. What do we think about... Oh, sorry. Where do we think we see Peter go in this series? Like, will he have some of the other titles as well?
Yeah, like we have some of the episode titles, right? Like where there's... we've got Secret Identity Crisis. We know what's going to happen there.
Well, yeah.
Hitting the Big Time, The Unicorn Unleashed, Duel with the Devil, Scorpion Rising, Tangled Web, Hero or Menace, and If This Be My Destiny, which is a great finale title. Monday, I was like, Duel with the Devil. What if, Nico Minoru's magical powers kind of manifest? And then someone goes, Evan, they're talking about Daredevil.
Daredevil.
And I was like...
You're like, nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
I think, the Secret Identity Crisis is obviously Osborn knowing what he is, but then hitting the Big Time, I think that's when he gets like the Future Foundation suit.
Yeah.
He gets a suit from Oscorp.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do we think about Peter getting this internship? Dr. Osborn or Norman Osborn showing up at his house, being like, I want you for this internship. And then he, the big reveal at the end of episode 2 is that he saw Peter changing into Spider-Man. But I think he already knew what was going on here.
Yeah. I mean, we got the pictures of Norman and Harry, obviously. Do you think Harry was kind of like, hey, it's this weird spider guy, bug guy saved me.
Most definitely.
Right?
I'm sure he told his dad about what happened.
And his dad was like, who? Because also he knows it's. I think a bigger question to ask also is like, who is he to the Avengers? Because we see him with Captain America in the photo,
true.
right? So if the Sokovia Accords are happening or whatever the hell have you, is he aware of like all of the superheroes and he doesn't know who this child is? That's a spider bug running around. So he's like, I keep tabs on everybody. I don't know who you are. You need to be in my database. Is it something like Secret Invasion where it's like, I need some of your blood? Like I took all the Avengers.
Well,
like
this
I'm doing
is
weird
also
shit here.
a universe where we have an Oscorp, we have Stark Industries. They're obviously competitors, right? And in theory, Norman is swooping in before Tony Stark has the opportunity to swoop in here, right? And get hands on the Spider-Boy. And he's going to offer his tech to Spider-Man at some point. Be like his guy in the chair, like help him out, But it's got to be for like nefarious purposes. I'm sure he wants whatever DNA has given Peter Parker these abilities. And I guess the bigger question is Norman Osborn already the Green Goblin? Or is he going to get some of Peter's blood or DNA, start messing with it, and that creates the Green Goblin? Yeah. Do you think Norman is already Green Goblin at this point?
Yeah.
He's wearing a lot of green.
He is wearing a lot of green.
I think it was just his MO as the Green Goblin. Like if Norman Osborn, if I was creating a Norman Osborn character, I'd be like, yeah, he's got to wear green. It oozes money and it oozes Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know because I'm trying to remember in the games they did hire Peter for Oscorp, didn't they? Okay, I will say, mind you, I played the second game last year, and I paid more attention to Miles' part than I did to Peter's. And then the first game I played so long ago that I barely remember anyone other than Mr. Negative. But I'm like, I think he worked at Oscorp or something like that already.
In the first Sony PlayStation 5 game, Peter was working with Doc Ock. Who was getting funded by Norman Osborn.
That's getting funded by Norman. And Norman Osborn was looking for a cure for his wife who was dying.
Yes, I believe so.
Right? So
someone was dying.
Yeah, I'm only asking because I'm like, they're not going to use the storyline of like, oh, I'm using your blood to heal someone else. Yeah. Because they already did it.
In the Amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield ones, Norman Osborn was trying to heal his son who had like a sickness.
No heals.
And that's like what kind of created the Green Goblin there.
That's the $1 million question I think is like, what does he specifically want with Peter if it's not his blood to heal anyone? I want to believe that they're not going to Green Goblin him yet until like the very, very end, maybe second season.
Okay, so you don't think he's Green Goblin?
Well, only because I'm like, you gave me all these characters that aren't their actual villains.
Right.
They're not their actual villains. And I do not hate a storyline where Green Goblin isn't Green Goblin. He's just Norman Osborn and he's bad money-wise. Like, I like the villain Tony Stark that sold mass weapons, weapons of mass destruction. So I'm like, give me a Norman Osborn where the real villain is a billionaire that just has a bad agenda.
Because I mean, Nico has pointed out, she said that like all his wealth and all his money, he must have done bad things, right?
Yes.
And we see that Butane had like Oscorp tech. How he got it, we don't know. But clearly, some of his technology is being used maliciously. I think it could be interesting if Norman Osborn here is our Uncle Ben, right? Where Norman messing around with like Peter's blood creates the Green Goblin, and Peter feels guilty for it somehow.
Interesting, yeah.
That could be an interesting way of it.
I think that's fun.
Also, let's not forget the portal was green, right?
You think he summoned him?
Is Norman Osborn already dealing with like weird technology and opening portals? Yeah.
My favorite part is him again going back to Strange being like, "We're not supposed to be here." He's like, "Oh shit, the deal.
The deal. I gotta deal with Norman.
Oh god, Norman's gonna kick my ass.
He's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me.
I mean, it also like the picture of him and Captain America kind of reminds me of the moment at X-Men '97 where Cap is like, he really can't stand for them. Like I can't really support the mutants publicly because I have to support my country. But I don't agree with them. It does feel like this could be another Captain America that kind of gets forced into like a photo op,
Yeah, there could have been a line of 100 people and they've all got that photo.
Yeah, 100%. Oh yeah. It's 100%. The mall Captain America.
Yeah.
The photo next to Captain America, you don't see it that well, and I didn't put it in the breakdown because I'm a black person and I did not want to assume, but it does look like T'Chaka. And so I was like, oh, so he also has business with Wakanda. I'm like, this motherfucker's all around.
He brought in an intern from Wakanda.
That is true.
Everyone else was from New York and she's from Wakanda.
Look here. He's slick. He's slick. He's got the swagger, and I love an idea that like this Norman Osborn is so slick. He has business with everybody. Yeah. He has business with everyone, and the only person that's going to infiltrate that idea is Peter Parker. And we just have to see it.
Even if he's not currently in Green Goblin, do you think do we agree that Norman's intentions here are a little malicious
100.
Or nefarious?
Yeah. He's clearly identifying Peter for some reason, whether he knew he was Spider-Man or something. But like, even if it's like hey, I need to get some 4 super smart
He's
teenagers in a
collected,
lab.
yeah, he's collected
you know?
powerful interns.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
even Dr. Whitman was like, I didn't want any interns.
Yeah, I want to be the wizard.
I'm the wizard. No one needs me.
Now I have to go away from my studies.
Shout out Paul F. Tompkins.
Paul
F.
So fun. I mean, great to see him in a show like this, and it's just such a fun performance.
Yeah.
Really excited to see where it goes too. All right, I want to take some questions from the chat here. So if you've been sending in some questions, please resend them as we kind of move through these.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I think we all heard.
I whispered it.
If anyone has a sandwich, please call.
Please,
Yeah, please
call
in.
in. I would love one. Maybe an Italian.
Leave a sandwich in the chat,
Yeah.
in the comments. Leave a sandwich,
Yeah.
any sandwich.
Yeah.
And then I go, I'm full. Keep reading.
All right.
Sandwich will do.
Any sandwich.
Hot dog's not a sandwich.
Burgers,
Not giving into it, but a hot
hamburgers,
dog is not a sandwich.
hamburgers.
Hamburger, not a sandwich.
So Kobe-Wan Kenobi and Shree were both asking questions about the relationship between Norman, Harry, and Spidey. I don't think we really dived into kind of Harry and Peter, or Spidey Peter. What dynamic do you think they'll have this kind of season? Do you think they become friends or something else?
Can I pitch something?
Yes.
Do we think that Harry will start becoming friends with Peter and Harry has money? Not in a mean way. I don't think Harry's malicious about it at all. But he's just like, yeah, come over. And he's like, whoa, your entire house is that danger room from X-Men 97. Like he sees that and then he starts pulling away from Nico and Nico's already losing her best friend.
Yeah.
And she's going to start getting mad. And then Harry's like, well, I'm sorry. I just have a lot of money. I'm not trying to steal him away. Do you think it's going to be that kind of relationship or do you think he's actually going to become friends? Or maybe Harry finds out what his dad's doing. He's like, no, that guy's nice. He saved me. Please don't be mean to him.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, because you are setting up this dynamic right now where Harry knows Spider-Man and Norman knows Peter and now Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Norman's going to have to keep this secret from Harry that he knows who Spider-Man is. And then presumably Harry is going to get to know Peter. And so Harry doesn't go. Does Harry go to the high school? We don't know. I guess.
I don't think we know. Yeah, and then also I think
We also don't know how
He's too
old.
rich
Is
for
he
that.
older?
Yeah.
We think maybe he's older and not.
I don't
interesting.
know. That's so funny to see like a grown younger adult, like a college student getting his ass kicked for lunch money, and he's
some
like,
Twitch
please,
streamers.
please, and he's in like an Armani suit running.
Yeah.
He's like, please, I'm
I
sorry.
could easily get my ass kicked today by some high schoolers.
Also-
Anytime I see a group of high schoolers, male, female, who knows?
I'm gonna get my
scared.
nephew.
Oh,
I'm
just
gonna get
scared.
my nephew up in here to beat up Brandon. Y'all let me know in the chat what date and time you want it. Valentine's Day, you got it.
24-hour stream. I will get beat up by Jessica's nephew.
He's 5'9", and he's 13.
I'm scared.
He's a
I'm frightened.
giant, and he's scary as
Giant. I'm taller than 5'9".
He's 13. He's not done.
Okay.
He's
Not
size
done.
14 shoe. He ain't done.
Get the time stone. I'm gonna age this boy up.
Stop it. Stop it. Also, I'm not trying to rag on Harry right now. You got your ass beat by 3 bullies on live stream, right? And then immediately you're in a commercial for Times 100 most influential people. He was on a little TV and he's just like, you'll find me on the street getting my ass kicked. Like, I'm trying.
They don't have a lot of influential people in that world.
Let me tell you right
apparently.
now, yeah. And he's number 12.
He's number
He's
12.
number 12.
But all of this is interesting though, because this is a Peter Parker who has like a ton of friends.
Yeah.
He's not like alone.
Yeah, that's true.
People like him and he's friendly.
When they were cheering for him,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
Peter, don't be like, did you see 30 Rock when Tina Fey was like, they all hated me. And they were like, we were all nice to you. You were mean to us. I was like, Peter, don't be like that.
yeah.
Please don't be
Yeah.
like that.
I also just love them just going,
Of course,
like
freak.
the least intimidating like high school football.
They're the Ravens. What else are they supposed to do?
I
Steal
don't know,
silver?
but the good causes. Just seeing like what are you guys doing?
silver. Oh my god.
Trinkets.
Trinkets.
Oh, we got pickpocketed the Ravens over here.
Wait, where's my keys?
Oh, my nickels and dimes.
When he took that trophy and he said, it's wet, he said, yeah, that's why he keeps fumbling balls. He's sweaty as hell. It felt like that. That's what I'm talking about when I say
Yeah.
they're teenagers. It gave me that Into the Spider-Verse when Miles was walking down the hallway freaking out. He goes, whoa, she's tall.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so nice. It's just
Yeah.
little things. It's
Also,
little
this
things.
game started before 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Peter's able to go to his internship, sneak away, stop a fire burning down, and then the game is just ending in the evening.
They went into
That's a
OT.
long
This is
game.
what we're talking about when we talk about multiverses. Things are just a little different.
Yeah, in this
They don't
universe,
have to be crazy.
Football, it's not quarters. It's like 7 sections of the game.
Yeah.
They actually do baseball rules. It's
Yeah.
innings.
It's innings.
They got 12 innings or whatever the hell.
We got a super chat earlier from Ahmad Hooper saying, "Hey guys, love the videos, and as much as I like the theory about Strange and Kraven, I feel like it's a bit of a stretch. In the comics, he's always had leopard-like print on his gloves."
Oh, okay.
Ooh, interesting.
Go ahead,
Interesting.
shoot me down. Shoot me down. It's not, and also it's not every single damn comic. It's not every single comic, but it is some of them. I understand.
And I will say, I mean, we made jokes about it before, but I do think Strange is kind of like, his commitment to hunting the creature down, no matter what the damage will maybe foreshadow, like, maybe he's not all good, right? Like, This is a Strange that is willing to play, like, true neutral. I need to, like, do what's best, objectively for the, the universe.
He's thinking on like a multiversal scale.
Yes, yeah.
A global and multiversal scale.
Yeah,
of,
so
like,
we'll have to see. And
threats.
they released a kind of teaser for the upcoming season. We do get another line from Strange in this. He goes like, "What do you call yourself again?" So we know he's going to come
gonna
back.
run into each other again.
Excited to see what that looks like. HBasso13 asking, "Is Nico this Peter's Gwen?" And Selva Rajago on YouTube asking, "Will an MJ or Gwen Stacy appear?" So
That's a big question.
we're already, right? Yeah, we're setting up Pearl to be this kind of love interest. And Nico's also kind of expressed that she's romantically interested in Pearl as well. So maybe she doesn't, maybe she's not interested in Peter in that way, and vice versa. What do we think? Yeah, an MJ or Gwen Stacy, could that kind of like divert what happens here in this
That
season?
does feel like a fun thing they would do at the end of the season, right? New student comes to school and it's either Gwen or it's MJ. This student that walked away with the spider, maybe they didn't wind up going to the same high school, right? We assume that everyone that went to Midtown got sent to other schools. I don't think one school could absorb all the Midtown students, right? They probably have to get broken up.
Yes, to get
So
split.
it's possible that student who took the spider went somewhere else. That could have been Gwen.
Ooh, yeah.
Or like someone like Cindy Moon we talked about before.
Yeah,
if they want to
yeah,
do like
being
Silk.
Silk, yeah.
Do that storyline. I love staying away from kind of MJ and Gwen off the bat. They teased it in Homecoming, right? At the very end of Homecoming, we learned that Zendaya was MJ. It was kind of a mystery the whole movie. Who exactly she was portraying.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, at the end, very much like the
It's like
kind
my
of,
friends call me MJ. Or whatever,
Yeah. Like, you should use your real name, Robin. It was a little bit like that, right?
Oh, at the
Batman,
end of
yeah.
Dark Knight
Rises, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we wrap it up here? Should we do our little game?
Let's do it. Yes, as we like to do on the after show, we want to highlight one character at the end of each episode. This time, who gets the cover art for this episode, right? This is a show so inspired by the comic books. It kind of looks like a living comic book, if you will. Who from these first 2 episodes would wind up on the cover? Who stole these 2 episodes for each of you?
It's that brick.
The brick? You put the brick on the cover?
That's that straight up brick. I love that brick. Yeah, bring that brick back every episode.
Bring that brick.
Bring the brick back.
I think, man, it is tough. I wish we got a little bit more of Lonnie. Obviously, the stuff we saw with him was very impactful. Listen, I got to shout out my favorite Marvel Snap card, Nico Minoru.
Oh, boy.
Give her the cover. She's in. She
can't
doesn't even
just
have her
base it on
staff
Marvel
yet.
Snap.
Listen, my favorite deck. She's in it. She's always doing it, and she's helping me for the win, and she's gonna help Peter this whole season. I'm gonna get very sad when they have their like, "You're not a good friend" episode, and they're fighting.
Is that when she turns to dark magic? When their friendship starts falling apart?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
She finds a book at the library she's not supposed to find.
Yeah.
Or maybe she starts hanging out with Doctor Strange. Yeah, I would put Doctor Strange on the cover. Like, so fun to see him in action.
Yeah.
Fighting. Good stuff.
And also, I'm glad they didn't get Benedict Cumberbatch because it lets us
Yeah.
kind of theorize a little bit more, right?
Yeah, they didn't go straight with him doing the voice. Plus, he would have said, I didn't do any voices for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I'm not in it. What? I'm in it? Oh,
I recorded that 4 years ago.
Oh, God. Well, that's it for us today. Make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel right here on YouTube and give us a follow on Twitch where we do videos like this live. Make sure you follow us follow Breakroom NR on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads, and Blue Sky. We'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Yeah.